readers,
reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about books we have to, not want to, have to finish by the end of 2022. I say finish, start and finish by the end of 2022.
What happens if we don't finish them?
There will be dire consequences. We will never be able to read again. We will be banished from the club, books will be stripped from us, and our pass will be removed from our person. Do you want to risk that? No. So yeah, we've chosen books very carefully. These are books that a lot of them I've been meaning to read them for a long time, and I'm finally going to do it. So Ed, you know what? I say this a lot. Instead of just chatting, let's get into what this video is actually about and show the first book that you have to finish by the end of 2022.
Boosh! Here we have
Alan Scott
Baker. Here we have Alan Zandria. I'm going to read him for the first time. R. Scott Baker's The Darkness That Comes Before is, again, I recently read The Black Company by Glenn Cook, but this is a book that is considered the very best and also one of the first of grimdark. And it's a term that I quite like grimdark novels. I quite like things where their morality is a little bit grey and the characters make questionable decisions, but you're still rooting for them. I wonder if this will be the case, because I think this is Anna Smith Sparks, one of her biggest inspirations, and
you loved her writing.
And her writing was beautiful, but the characters are very hard to get behind. So I wonder if that will be the same case here, but I'm looking forward to it. It's another fantasy classic that I need to get into. And
I'm going to juxtapose yours slightly, Ed. You chose a old traditional grimdark book. I'm going to choose a modern grimdark fantasy book, and that is Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. Lovely special edition here, Broken Binding edition. I know, I'm sorry, we talk about them every video.
I get it, but you work for them.
And we've got a lot of their books, but yes, Mark Lawrence has become famed for his character Jorg Ankrath, who I believe is inspired by Alex from Clockwork Orange. Terrible person, fantastic character though. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to reading Prince of Thorns. It's interesting, a lot of fantasy books are chunky books, but this not so much, but everyone seems to love it that I've talked to anyway. And yeah, so Prince of Thorns, I've read 8 of his books, but not his first 2 trilogies, which is a bit weird. I've done it inverted. But yes, I'm going to be going back and rectifying my mistakes and reading Prince of Thorns.
And
I've done it for inverted.
Is the classic Titus Andronicus, which is one of Shakespeare's plays. I think this is one with the most murders in, the bloodiest play anyway, and it's
that's saying a lot.
Pretty Roman. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting to this. It was one I wanted to read for quite a while. What plays have I read now? I've done Macbeth, obviously Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. I think they're the 3 that I've done.
Have you done any of the comedies? Are you talking about recently or at school as well?
No, I don't like laughing, so...
obviously, you're not the Joker on this channel, are you?
No, definitely not. I'm so sorry.
It's so bad.
That's actually my chair.
That is your chair.
Why am I on your chair and you're on mine? Oh, it's because you want to be taller. Anyway.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Is that funny?
Yes.
Is it because they got the antlers?
It's because it's in Dead Poets Society.
Yeah. That's it's funny. That's why it's funny then.
That is why it's funny. But next up,
Robin Williams got hold of it. They were like, "This is a comedy."
This is a comedy. This is Lion by.
You're not going to wipe all the tea off.
Well, you knocked it there. Oh dear. And there's coffee actually.
Give me your top. Hang on.
Very funny. Very funny. Oh. We were talking about grimdark, weren't we?
Say sorry then.
Very sorry.
What do you really mean, Will?
This is Lion by Conor Goodin, historical fiction set in ancient Greece. I believe that this is about Greece, the states of Greece, about Greece, about the warring states and about becoming more of a dominated by one force. This is just after the Greco-Persian one, after Thermopylae, Salamis, and all that good stuff. Well, it depends who you are, if it's good stuff, but good to read about. And it's just after that, I believe. So yeah, really interested to read this.
It's like saying Agincourt is great. It's like, you're not going to say that, are you?
No.
Another one for me is this a recommendation by Joe Abercrombie himself.
Well, you got to read it, don't you?
The Grimdark Goat. And this is The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, which is, I think, I don't really know, to be honest. I think it's just a book about a child. I think there's a curse on his family, and it's just about his life. I think this child's dream has become the next Tolkien. And it's got apparently
that is a lot of our dreams.
The authorial voice here is very unique and individual and quite humorous as well, but also very poignant. So it's just a book I thought would be a pretty good palate cleanser, I think. So yeah,
we've been talking about palate cleansers
I would like
lately.
to read in the future.
We need to do a video on palate cleansers, he said, didn't we?
We should.
So let us know if you want to see that. Next up, I've got a reread, and this is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, book 1 of the Farseid trilogy, book 1 of the wider realm of the Elderlings. I absolutely adore this series, but I committed sacrilege last time. I read the 3 trilogies that have Fitz starring as the main character, and I skipped Live Ship Traders.
Even I know you can't do that.
I know. A lot of people, it's actually their favourite series until they reach the final trilogy. But yes, I absolutely love this series, and I decided I'm going to be doing a reread when I was watching Jimmy Nuts's videos and reviews, which I'm so glad he absolutely loved Realm of the Elderlings, just like me, but he didn't commit sacrilege, so he's one-upped me there, but I will rectify my mistake, as I'm doing quite a bit throughout this video, and I will be starting from the beginning and going through them all again.
Very nice. And the next one for me is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. And obviously with the release of Babel, we know that R.F. Kuang is a huge name on everyone's lips at the moment. This series was absolutely massive. It's at least 6 foot tall.
Again.
And yeah, I definitely want to carry on with this series. It's got a great fan base at the moment. And I always hear people, especially people in the comments, saying you need to definitely continue with the Poppy War trilogy, which I shall be doing very soon.
Very nice, Ed. And next up, I have a Stephen King book, which hopefully my book reviews will be happy about. This is Carrie by Stephen King, as I already said. I'm prone to repeating myself this video, aren't I?
But yes, Stephen Queen this time.
Stephen Queen this time, maybe. But I forgot to put this in my October TBR video. I intend to read this month. I know that Carrie isn't known as the most horrifying or scary of Stephen King's reads, but it's October. You've got to read some Stephen King, don't you?
Is she the dog? Is that about the dog?
No, Ed. She's the schoolgirl. This is his debut. The schoolgirl who gets bullied.
But the clown.
I think, yeah, that's called It, Ed.
Oh yeah.
I think that. Wait, the dog. Do you mean the rabid one? I forgot what that's called.
That's the only dog.
I was thinking Pet Sematary. It's a cat, isn't it? But anyway, that's right. Cujo. Cujo. It's in Friends, isn't it? When they're watching it, and Rachel was absolutely terrified.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
Carrie, I'm really looking forward to reading this. Dad said this is one of his favourite Stephen King books, and he has read many. So yeah, really looking forward to reading this. And also, it's nice to have a smaller book every now and then, isn't it?
Yeah. And one book that I want to read is one that Dad has read, and also you've read, both said that I need to read it, and it's The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden.
Very nice.
This is a big book in terms of what it did for the historical fiction meets fantasy genre. And yeah, I think that's a big part of it, isn't it? And this is inspired massively by real life events, but with a dashing of magic, I believe, chucked in there for good measure. And yeah, apparently Catherine Arden, I've watched a few interviews with her. She seems like a really interesting and unique person. She writes in a very, very different style as well, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this series is like.
Very nice. Yeah, I absolutely love that trilogy as a whole. Bear and the Nightingale, it's funny, each of them you love for different reasons, but it just does so well as a trilogy, and it wraps up so well. The main character's brilliant. Next up, I have Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin. So I begun reading A Song of Ice and Fire for the first time this year. I'm currently reading A Clash of Kings. I intend to read A Storm of Swords, I believe is book 3, and then I will read Fire and Blood, and that'll be my George R. R. Martin reads until the end of the year, and then I'll carry on with the series next year. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. We need to carry on with House of the Dragon, and then I will read this, and I like to compare, after you've read something. It didn't work very well when I read the Silmarillion and then watched Rings of Power. I was very upset. But hopefully this will be an entirely different tale.
Nothing from the Silmarillion's in it. So
yeah, but also the stuff from the Second Age, they've butchered it. In my opinion, I'm glad a lot of people seem to have enjoyed it, but I'm sad I didn't. But anyway, my book reviews have said that House of the Dragon is brilliant, and I'm looking forward to reading a lot more, watching a lot more, and also reading the original tale. There we go. That's Fire and Blood.
And the penultimate one for me is a book so heavy that I have to use 2 hands to hold it.
That is a rare occurrence.
I can only pick it up in 1 hand.
But it's one of those that I wish there's even more pages.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's a chunker.
It is a chunker.
By a huge amount. And it is Until the Last by Mike Shackle. This is book 3 of the Last War trilogy, and I definitely need to finish it. Well, I definitely need to read it first, don't I? Start it at least. And yeah, I mentioned this in August, but August was a crazy month, and then September was a crazy month, and then October's been a crazy month so far, and I definitely will be getting to it. I just need to be in the right frame of mind to tackle a book that's so big that it's actually bigger than some of my dogs. So yeah.
Nicely put, yes.
Thank you.
Next up, I always have a heavy book, and this is Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. So this is part of the Bound and the Broken, the second instalment. There are 2 novellas. I've read one of them. I believe The Exile is set. I'm not sure. I think you meant to read The Exile after you've read this, so I've left it to after. If I'm wrong, please do correct me in the comments. But yes, Of Darkness and Light is the second instalment after...
What? What's you on about?
Oh, I thought we were going to do a bit of teamwork there.
Oh no!
I was saying
no
it's
idea
the second instalment after...
I've read it, but I can't,
Of Blood and Fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why would
Sorry.
you do that?
I'm sorry.
But
I'm really sorry. You just carried staring straight forward.
no idea. I didn't even. I can't see that side, Will. So.
You need glasses.
No, Will. I'm blind. So cheers.
You're not blind.
I am blind.
Your eye is damaged, to be fair.
But
anyway,
you don't know what my body is.
No, I do know. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. But anyway, moving on from that brotherly dispute, yes, I do need to read Of Darkness and Light. I believe book 3 of War and Ruin is being released in November, so yes, I need to catch up with
War and
the
Ruin.
series.
War of Ruin.
That's book 3.
War and Ruin.
I
thought we did a
right.
duo thing.
That is disrespectful. That is next up. Ed, have you got any more?
Well, the last one was my penultimate one, so this must be the last one.
Oh, it must be then.
Yeah, the last one.
Does explain
the
a lot.
last one. Red Sister is the book that won the vote when William did put the polls up there, and you know, this beat Gates of Athens, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Con Iggulden. And I cannot wait to read it. Red Sister. It's got a great first line, hasn't it? I love a bit of Mark Lawrence. I need to finish the 3rd book of his second trilogy before I read this.
Red Queen's War?
Red Queen's War, thank you. That is where the duo does well. And we know.
Well, we know,
yeah,
yes.
We know what you're talking about. So yeah, Red Sister, I really look forward to it. I think this is Dad's favourite trilogy of Mark Lawrence as well. Because, is it Nona? Nona
Yes.
Grey is
Fantastic.
awesome. Why is she not called Nona Red?
You'll find out.
Read and find out. RAFO, in case of you're wondering of the acronym. Is it an acronym?
Very nice. Yeah, it would be an acronym. I'd
be.
never heard that before.
What, an acronym?
No, I've obviously heard of an
RAFO.
acronym. RAFO.
Yeah.
Read and find out.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I wouldn't say RAFO, because that'd be a double F, wouldn't it? But then, what even are the rules in English anyway?
Oh no, there are none basically, or they're made to be broken. It was something I remember. Robin Hobb said she read a book about rules of English language, and she said, "Read this, so then if you're a writer, you know how to break them."
Who said that?
Robin Hobb.
Whoa!
But she said, "Just do it knowingly." It's a great thing.
Does she break them?
Yeah, that's but in
Does
a
she use punctuation?
yeah. Not quite Cormac McCarthy level. But yes, so that is everything that we have to read by the end of 2022.
Yeah,
you
or
can
else.
hold us to account if you spot that we haven't read any of them by the end of the year. So thank you everyone for watching. Truth and Courage, let us know what you need to read by the end of 2022. The Brothers Gwynne.
Truth and Courage from the Brothers Gwynne. Of Darkness and Light. That one?
That's what I held up.
Oh. See ya.
Bye.